Hello there, everyone. If you are new here, my name is Clarissa, and I put out new pick a card readings once a week. This week, we are doing things a little bit differently. We're going to be picking a crystal or stone, and we have 4 different piles this week. So this is like the most piles I've ever done, but I just felt called to do 4 instead of 3 like I normally do. So anyway, we have option number 1, 2, 3, or 4. So for number 1, we have the carnelian. For number 2, we have the hematite or hematite. I'm not sure how you say it, but that is this one. I actually really like this stone. I think it's really pretty. And then we have a light heat treated citrine for pile number 3. I really like the way this one catches the light. It's very, very pretty. They all are. And then for pile number 4, we have green aventurine. Okay. All right, so if you're new to pick a card, pick a stone, pick a whatever readings, what you'll want to do is pause the video and take some time to meditate on the different options. You can also go to the description box down below and see if your favorite emoji is down there next to the specific timestamp for your selection, or I sometimes will add up all of the numbers when I'm looking at my own, looking at other people's pick a card readings. I will look at a timestamp, add up all the numbers, and see if it's a number that numerologically aligns with me, or a number that I feel called to at that time. You can watch all of the readings if you want to and see what resonates with you most. Since this is a reading about what other people admire about you, if you're not vibing with the reading that you pick right off the bat, I would honestly encourage you to go ahead and come back and pick another pile. Especially for the type of reading that this is. And maybe you won't vibe with any of the options here, but I doubt that'll happen. I always try and set the intentions with my video that the people that need to hear these messages, that this will get to. So if you're here, I think that you're here for a reason, and this is something that you need to hear right now, okay? So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking because I tend to blab on. So I'm gonna stop talking, and please take a minute if you need to, pause the video and pick the pile. I keep saying pile because that's what I'm used to. Pick the crystal that you're most drawn to at this time, and then go to the description box below and select the timestamp for that individual stone. Again, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you will be able to go to your reading and get your reading for today. Okay, guys? So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon. All right, hello there, pile number 1. If you picked the carnelian, then this is your reading for this week. And again, this is all about what other people see in you, what other people admire about you, okay? I went ahead and just laid out all of your oracle cards because I did pre-shuffle those. I will shuffle some of the tarot cards, well, all of the tarot cards for your reading as well once we go through these, but I wanted to lay these out because I knew I had quite a few, and I wanted to make sure that I actually got everything in frame. So I will lift this card up as well. You just ended up getting 2 from this deck, and I was originally trying to do 1 from each deck, so it just kind of threw it off a little bit. But who am I to refuse spirit an extra message, you know what I mean? So anyway, let's go ahead and get into your reading here. So first off, when I was laying out your cards before I turned on the camera, I just feel like you guys have such a fiery presence. And I say that very literally because you picked the carnelian, which is all about desire and passion, and is this beautiful red orange color, and really does represent the fire signs and their passion and their desire and their determination, their willpower. And I think it's very fitting that you got Aries I am here, because I feel like you guys are just like go-getters. You guys have such a profound, passionate energy that you give off to the rest of the world. And I really think that's something that other people see in you and admire about you, like right off the bat. You're just somebody that gives off that fiery energy. And I really love that. Like when I was laying these out, actually, I was surprised that this wasn't Sagittarius, because when I laid these three out initially, I was like, this gives me strong Sagittarius energy. And I'm going to tell you why. So with the maiden and the animal coming up, it's very interesting because the maiden is seen as somebody that can kind of be, you know, naive or innocent. But truthfully, I feel like this is coming out with you in conjunction with the animal and the healer, because I really feel like something that people admire about you is that you don't take yourself or life or anything too seriously. You know how to have fun, you know how to enjoy yourself, but you also know how to like get down and dirty and like put a lot of effort into things that you really truly want. And I think that that's very admirable, because I really like, I don't know how to describe this, and I don't know if this will come across the way that I'm wanting it to, but to me, this pile gives off the energy of that person who you think doesn't know about as much of, or doesn't know as much about life as, you know, somebody else, or somebody that you look at and you're like, oh wow, like you act like such a child, you act like you're somebody that like will never grow up or whatever, but in all reality, like you're very smart, you're very bright, and you just know how to be strategic with like your energy and the things that you put your energy into, if that makes sense. You really aren't somebody that like sweats the small shit in life. Like you are somebody that kind of just lets things roll off your shoulders in like the best possible way, because with the healer coming out, I really get the sense that, you know, you are an old soul. You are somebody that has had multiple lifetimes. And you know, it's interesting because I've just been seeing like snakes everywhere lately, and I actually want to get like a snake tattooed on myself. But what's interesting to me about snakes and like the mythology and everything behind snakes is that certain religions have really demonized snakes and made them seem like evil, and snakes are actually like a long time ago were depicted as like being, you know, these creatures of like knowledge and power and wisdom. And I really see that within you. I feel like you're somebody that actually is very deep and actually has a lot to contribute to the world and to the conversation, but you don't show that side to everybody. And not only do you not show that side to everybody, but you really only tap into that when needed. I feel like something that people really admire about you is that you know how to have fun, but you're also that person that they can come to for advice, and you're going to be straight with them. You're going to tell them exactly what you think, and you're going to have this like knowledge that really makes you appear like wiser beyond your years. Like I really do get the sense that with this pile in like your current incarnation in this lifetime, you're somebody that is young. Like I mean, I feel like you're somebody that's in your 20s, early 30s. You're somebody that is young and hasn't experienced a lot of life yet, but you're just so knowledgeable and you have a lot to share with other people. Even if you don't necessarily recognize it, it's something that other people see and admire in you, that you're somebody that has a lot to offer and bring to the table, and you're someone that they feel comfortable going to for advice, for, you know, your input, for whatever, because you are so wise. And again, I really do feel like you're somebody that like was a precocious child and just like very smart, very observant. You know exactly, like you know a lot more than you give yourself credit for, I guess is what I'm really trying to say here. And like to me, this just gives off like such strong Sagittarius energy, because to me, Sagittarius is the sign that doesn't take itself too seriously, that knows how to have fun, that knows how to just like shoot the shit. But also Sagittarius is very deep. Like you can have very deep, heartfelt, like conversations about like religion, spirituality, life, whatever with Sagittarius. And I really do get that feeling from you, that you know, you are somebody that is like, and that's what people really do admire about you, because you have so much insight to offer. Like literally, it's like you have like an all-seeing like eye, and you're able to connect very easily back to like your higher self and to spirit and to the other side, because you have this connection that is just so natural and so fluid, especially with like the double mission and messenger coming out here. I really feel like you are here, like your soul is here on a mission. Like you reincarnated purposefully, obviously, I think we all do, but you purposefully reincarnated here to help the planet, to help society, to help other people, and provide them with this wisdom that you have, that you were just kind of like innately born with and given. And I think that honestly, there are a lot of people that harbor like jealousy towards you because things kind of come naturally to you, without you even trying. And I get the feeling that that's something that's kind of always happened to you as a child. And I really do think that it's tied into like your ability to be so connected to spirit, so connected to, you know, your higher self, and other people don't have that connection. Like you're spiritual without purposefully being spiritual. You're connected without purposefully being connected. I feel like you're somebody that has a lot of like natural like psychic ability and gifts, and for certain people that could be threatening, or that could be like cause like a sense of jealousy because you don't even try. It's like you're that type of person that will be listening to somebody, you know, talk about something, or, you know, want your input on something, and it's like you just get these downloads, like you just get these feelings or these thoughts, or, you know, you may even hear things from like spirit about like what to share with this person. And I just feel like you're somebody that's really, really wise. I think it's interesting because why I say things may come easier to you is this Gentle Gardener card just like screams Sagittarius energy to me. Sagittarius is constantly like co-creating with the world, with the universe, without even purposefully trying to do it. Sagittarius like is somebody that will sit there and make their reality whatever they want it to be without even meaning to do it, because they just innately know how to connect and how to manifest. It's like crazy. I really have always believed that to be true with like Sagittarius and Piscean people, that they just know how to manifest without even meaning to. They know how to create the life they want to without even meaning to. It's like things fall into your lap on accident. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like diminishing any of your accomplishments or the things that you've worked for, because I think that you probably are a very hardworking, passionate, driven person, but you just make it look so easy that other people are just like, wow, like she's so cool, he's so cool, like how did they do that? How did they even make that possible? How did they even believe that that was possible for themselves? And it's just like you have this innate knowing that whatever you want to create in this world, you can create in this world. And again, I do feel like there are a lot of people that admire you for that, and there are a lot of people that harbor like jealousy toward you for that, because from the outside it looks like you can do whatever you want without really trying, even though that's not the case. Because again, we have passion here, we have Aries here, and I do feel like you are very driven. You are almost somebody that is like type A perfectionist to an extent, and you see the world in extremes in terms of like black and white. I have to put in my all or nothing to something. That is the energy that I get. But like, you are so driven. This is just kind of the part of yourself that you hide from other people. It's like almost like you're the silent competitor, right? Like you're the black horse that nobody expects to come up and like take the gold, you know, like literally come in first place, because other people, they're like, oh no, it'll be these two people, like these two people will definitely get it. But you're behind the scenes, like busting your ass, putting in time, you know, really working hard towards your goals, and you end up coming out on top. And I think other people really admire like your drive and your determination to get what you want out of life. The thing about Aries coming up here is Aries doesn't let anything stop them. When Aries wants something, Aries goes after it. There's no stopping Aries, okay? And like, I also want to preface and say that like, even if you don't have Aries or Sagittarius in your chart at all, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't represent those energies. You could have a very packed first house, and technically Aries rules the first house by default. And Sagittarius rules the ninth. So you could also have a very packed ninth house. And you could be giving off those energies. You could also just be somebody that gives off these energies. It could be like a north-south node kind of thing for you, where Aries is in your north node or Sag is in your north node, or like vice versa. Maybe one of them is in your south node, you know, whatever. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to preface and say that, just so like, you know, that if you're not a Sagittarius or not an Aries or not a fire sign at all, like, this reading could very much still apply to you. So anyway, I really do think that that is what other people admire about you, that you're driven, that you're somebody that seems naive and ignorant, but really like you're also like behind the scenes snickering like, you guys are fucking dumb. Like, I know exactly what's going on. You guys think that I'm stupid. I'm not. Like, I know exactly what's happening. I know exactly what's going on. And it's really cute that you guys think that you can play me or that I don't know what's happening. Like, I really think that you have a very strong intuition, and that you allow your intuition to guide you without you even realizing it. Like, it's like you follow gut instincts or your intuition without you even realizing that you are. Like, that's how connected I feel like you are without you even realizing it. Like, it's that like cool, calm, collected kind of connected where you're just like, whatever, I got it in the bag. Like, I'm cool, and like I'm just doing me. And yeah, I think that people really admire that about you. But again, I think that because like, I'm gonna be honest, I think you're really fucking cool because you're really cool. Other people, you know, may not admire and may, you know, harbor jealousy or like ill thoughts toward you because again, they don't understand how hard you really work for things. They don't understand that. Not all of them do anyway. I think that the ones that admire and respect you do understand that. And like those that you let into your circle, let know you, like they really know that you really do work hard. But it's like the outsider looking in is like, how come everything just happens so easily to them? Okay. And I don't think that's the case at all. I really do think that you work hard for the things that you have, and you have worked hard to make your desires a reality. With mending here, I will say that I think something that for sure other people admire about you is that you're somebody that just like doesn't let the small stuff get to you. You're somebody that forgives very easily. I don't get the sense that you're somebody that like always forgets what other people did to you or, you know, situations or whatever, but you forgive. Like, you let shit go. You don't hold on to anything because you don't see the purpose in that. Like, that's how I feel like I know you are an older soul, because you're like, whatever, I don't need to hold on to that. Like, it does more harm than good to me to hold on to things. And also, like, you're very good about healing yourself and healing others. And, you know, obviously the healer came up here. So like, I think you're very good about healing others with like your words and your intentions and like the way that you make other people feel. I think that you're very strategic about the way that you make other people feel. And I mean that in terms of like, you are very good at reading other people, and you're very good at picking up on vibes of other people. And you know when it's appropriate to act one way with one person and appropriate to act one way with another. You know what I mean? Like, you're not somebody that's gonna, you know, sit there and joke around with somebody that you barely know about, like, you know, your existential crisis. You're gonna do that with your best friend, right? You're very good at like also providing healing to people without even knowing that you are, because again, I feel like you're so very connected to spirit, to the divine. I feel like you are somebody that offers like great nuggets of wisdom to other people, And, you know, sometimes even the things that you say, you just listening and providing like advice is enough to provide like healing energy for other people. And really, truly, like just you being here and living the life that you do and living the way that you do is what provides this like healing to other people, because they see you being very unapologetically you. You are very unapologetically you. You are somebody that is very authentic. You don't sugarcoat things. You don't pretend to like people that you don't care about. And I think that that's very admirable, because it takes a lot to get to a place where you really don't give a shit about what other people think. And I really think that that is one of the biggest things that people admire about you, honestly, is that you know who you are, you're comfortable in who you are, you're comfortable in like your masculine or your feminine, you're comfortable just like in whatever state you want to be in, because you've been through a lot of shit. And you I'm sorry if you hear my cat in the background. She just started yelling. But anyway, you don't put up with other people's shit, and you know who you are, and you're not going to let anybody else's like negative opinions or input or like the things that they would negatively say affect you, because you're somebody that I feel like has done a lot of like healing yourself. And you're somebody that realizes and recognizes that when other people say something to you like negative to you, it has more to do with them than it does with yourself. And so again, you don't let other people get to you. You don't let shit get to you. You just live your life. And honestly, like that's the best thing that you can do. Being who you are and like presenting the energy that you do to the world is what people truly admire about you, because there are so many people that can't be themselves no matter what they do. Like they just are so uncomfortable being in their own skin and being themselves. Like you are very grounded in this body, and you truly like love yourself and appreciate yourself. And I don't think you always have, but I think that you do now. I really truly do. I think that you think highly of yourself, you love yourself, you take care of yourself, and other people see that and they admire that and they want to be like that. Okay, I think that's like really beautiful. I think you guys are really cool, pile number one. Like when I was laying out your cards, I was like, pile number one's freaking cool, dude. Like you're somebody that I would want to be friends with, because I love that high vibrational energy. Like, and again, you putting it off without even meaning to. Like I love that shit. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at your tarot cards as well, just to see if we can get any more information about what other people admire about you. So let's see what else Spirit has to say. Sorry guys, like I really don't know what to talk about when I'm shuffling the cards, because I'm like so focused on, you know, not fucking up shuffling the cards. So I'm sorry if I don't talk a whole lot, but essentially, like, again, I think you guys are really freaking cool. And like, don't change. Don't let other people change you. Don't let this world bring you down, because you have this like beautiful energy and light to present to the world. And I really think that that's like why you're here. And I think that's why a lot of people admire you and are drawn to you, because they're also on this path of trying to become that themselves. I really believe that like saying of like what we see and admire in other people is like what we have the potential to become ourselves, and that's why we see it and admire it. So, you know, you're bringing out the best in other people by just being who you are, and I think that's really cool and really beautiful. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Nine of Wands came out. Okay, we'll get like 2 more cards. Okay, there we go. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna read them as right side up because, you know, I want this to be more of a positive reading. 2 of Swords, 9 of Wands, the 7 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Swords. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of a reaffirmation of what we were talking about. So with the 2 of Swords coming up here, I feel like you are somebody that does best when you make decisions based on your intuition, like we talked about, right? Like, again, I think that you're somebody that does it without even realizing that you're doing it. And one thing that I will say is that you are the most admirable, you're the most inspirational, you are the most like, you're the best version of yourself that you can be when you just like, get an instinct about something and you go for it. Because I think that when you get too tied up in your own thoughts and your own head, like the ideas and like perceptions of other people, that's when you fall into this like area of like lack, and like, you know, you start to question yourself and your abilities and your confidence. And honestly, like that's why other people admire you, because you don't fall into this like very often at all, because you just get an instinct about something, you trust it, and you go for it. I feel like this may have been kind of something of like where you came from, and like also a reminder to like continue to just listen to that instinct, listen to that intuition, and go for it. Like, don't worry and be like overly logical about your decisions, okay? Like, it's okay to just like let intuition and passion drive you. And because especially for you, I think that that's honestly like one of your purposes here, is to just let inspiration and passion drive you and to go forward with your life, like, and live how you want to live, right? It's interesting that you got the Nine of Wands, because the Nine of Wands to me is actually a card about, hold on, let me get a drink of water, because my throat is getting really dry here. It's funny because I specifically like pictured this card in my mind when I was shuffling your tarot deck. I don't know why, but it makes a lot of sense to me now, because again, I said that you're somebody that is very good about being able to manifest. And I actually like think of the Eight of Wands, which is the card that comes before this, as like us kind of throwing like the things that we want out into the open, them kind of like shooting across the sky, right? And then things kind of fall as they may, and then we go and see, okay, like what worked, what didn't. In the Nine, we're like looking at, okay, what worked, what didn't, what do we want to like keep, what do we want to pick up and carry with us into the 10, right? And so I think that you're somebody that, again, this like represents your determination and your passion, because you're somebody that is constantly like tweaking and changing things to better fit the outcome that you want, and for you to achieve the outcome that you want. Again, you know, I think that this is really exemplifying this idea that you're somebody that keeps going. Like, you have the drive and the passion to just keep freaking going. When other people give up, you keep going, or you're just getting started. You know, it's like you have like Energizer Bunny, okay? Like, you're the fucking Energizer Bunny, and you just keep going. Nothing stops you. And I think that's really, really beautiful. And you're also somebody though that is like realistic and recognizes like, okay, this isn't working. What do I need to do to change it? How can I improve it? What can I do better moving forward? And you just continually do that until like you end up getting the result that you want. So again, it looks like to other people like you're just really freaking lucky, but you're not. You actually work really hard. And I think that this is really saying that other people that truly admire you and appreciate you admire your determination and admire your ability to, you know, again, dust yourself off, get back up and say, let's try it again, you know, keep going. And, you know, again, I think that this is just reaffirmation of that you just need to kind of keep going and just keep doing your thing. And, you know, don't let other people's thoughts and opinions like outweigh what you know to be best for yourself, right? With the Seven of Pentacles coming up, it's so funny because I actually think that you are a patient person, okay? I think that even with all of this fiery energy, you have this ability to ground yourself in the situation and say, okay, I've planted my seeds. I've done what I can do. I'm going to keep freaking doing it until something stops working. And then I'm going to change things up and I will do things differently. And you're also somebody that understands, again, because you're so connected to the divine, to the universe, to everything. You're somebody that really understands, like, I got to give this time, okay? Like, nothing's going to happen overnight, and that's all right. And I got to give this shit time, all right? And so, yeah, I think that you're somebody that's what other people admire about you, because you don't, how do I want to say this? You don't like get 10 steps ahead of yourself, right? You don't sit there and like, you're not impractical. You're very passionate and you're very determined and you're very driven, but you're also a practical person and you understand that good things take time, right? We can't just like, you know, do a couple things. Like, we can't just like work out for 20 minutes one day and think that we're gonna like look completely different the next day. Things take like consistency and time, all right? And, you know, again, you're somebody that understands like, okay, if this isn't working, I'm gonna make adjustments, I'm gonna come back better, and I'm gonna, you know, continue to do the things that are leading me toward the success that I want, and I'm gonna stop the things that aren't. And it's like a flip of the switch for you. Like, you are really somebody that is so focused. Like, I just literally like see you as somebody that is laser focused on what you want. And again, that is so admirable. It is so cool. Like, you're really cool, pile number one. I keep saying that like I'm fangirling over you, but it's true. You're really freaking cool. And you know, it really, really does exemplify that Aries energy to me of this determination, this willpower of, you know what, I'm going to come up on top regardless. So let me do what it takes to get on top, right? And that's, you know, something that other people really, really respect about you. With the 9 of Swords coming up, I don't think that you're like, people respect you for your anxiety or like your anxious thoughts. I think that it's more so saying here that other people really respect your mind and the way that you work, okay? I think that other people admire your ability to, again, like have fun, enjoy life, really be, you know, happy with who you are and where you are, and like your ability to appreciate the moment that you're in. And, you know, also your ability to be very deep and to be like a very philosophical thinker, because that again is, I know I keep saying Sagittarius over and over again, but like that is the overall energy I feel from this pile. Like, I really do. I feel like you're somebody that is very deep, very philosophical, somebody that people can have a deep intellectual conversation with, you know, somebody that has like very insightful ideas and opinions, and again, this knowledge that it's like, how do you even like know that, or how could you have even said that? Because you get these downloads, and you also are just like an old wise soul. And again, I think that this is really saying that people admire your mind and the way your mind works and the way that you think about other people and yourself and the world, and you know what you can do to leave your footprint and like improve this world. So anyway, I'm gonna leave your reading here, pile number one. I hope that you enjoyed this. I really enjoy these kind of readings. And I think that you're really freaking cool. So like, keep being you, keep doing you, keep, you know, being confident and proud of who you are. And those that admire and love you will continue to do that. And those that don't, like, they got their own problems, right? Again, like, I really do feel with this pile that you're my pile that's like, you know what? If you don't love me, that's a you problem. If you don't respect me, that's a you problem. If you, you know, have negative things to say about me, that's really negative shit you say about yourself, right? So anyway, thanks so much for joining me, pile number one. Again, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Again, I put out new pick a card readings, new, you know, tarot readings once a week. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, guys. Love you. Wish you all the best. You guys are cool as hell. I keep saying that, but like, you're really freaking cool. Keep being you, and I hope to see you in the next one, guys. Bye. Hello there, pile number two. If you chose the hematite or hematite stone, then this is your reading. So I already went ahead and laid out your oracle cards because I have a little bit more cards, I feel like, than normal, and I wanted to make sure that everything would fit in the camera view, and not have to like rearrange things a million times on camera. This also happened with pile number one, but you guys also got like one extra card than I was anticipating. So I have like one just kind of hanging out on top of the other ones, but we'll go over your cards here in a minute. Again, we're looking at what other people admire about you, and we will throw some tarot cards in here as well once we go into your oracle cards, and I will go ahead and shuffle for your tarot cards on camera. I just wanted to shuffle these ones ahead of time because I'm sure, as you can kind of tell, I took from multiple different decks, so I didn't want to have to like sit here and shuffle all the cards on camera for you from multiple different decks. So anyway, I just want to say that first of all, when I was laying out your cards, I just got like very strong, like Capricorn, Scorpio, maybe even Aquarius energy. And I'll tell you why. I'm really feeling like Capricorn energy. And yeah, I'll get into it, but it's just something that really kind of struck me while I was putting out the cards, just with like what's kind of come up here. So, you know, that could be you. You may relate to that. If not, that's all right. You could also have placements in your, sorry, I had to think about it for a minute, your 10th house for Capricorn, 11th for Aquarius, or 8th for Scorpio. And I say that because I really feel like Saturn energy here. So you could also have like a Capricorn rising or something, or Aquarius rising, and have Saturn as like your chart ruler. Yeah, I just really felt that. And I think that really what brought it out was the crone, but everything else that I'm seeing as well here. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I was going to say too, if you don't have any of those placements, or you don't have like any, planets in those houses, no big deal. This could very well still apply to you. So again, as I said in the beginning of the video, when you were selecting your pile, if we're going through this and this just doesn't sound like you at all, go ahead and select a different pile. But again, like, you know, we're looking through the eyes of other people. So these may be things that you don't even necessarily see about yourself, but other people do. So anyways, enough of my babbling. We'll go ahead and get into it. So again, here are the first couple of cards that came out for you. We have the crone, we have the vow, and we have the unseen. So I really get the vibe here that you are somebody that is very, very wise. It's almost like you have lived multiple lifetimes in one lifetime. I feel like you had a very difficult childhood, or even you had to like grow up very quickly. Quicker than other people your age did, and that could have been due to circumstances outside of your control, due to like you being an older sibling and having to take care of people, or, you know, just to you having emotionally immature parents that you had to, you took like a parentified role for them. But I really do get that vibe, I get that energy, especially from the crone coming out. I feel like because you may have had a more difficult childhood or a more difficult upbringing, you don't like superficial relationships. You don't care for small talk. You don't care for people that only want something from you and don't want to give anything back in return. You don't care for like acquaintances or superficial friendships or anything like that. You would much rather be alone than to spend your time with people that you don't truly care about. And I think that's something that other people really respect about you, because you're very good, I feel like, at this point in your life with just saying no to things and just setting boundaries and saying, you know, like, I'm not interested, I'm sorry, like, it's just not something that interests me. And, you know, I said I'm sorry because I still have to work on my my own like issues with apologizing for things that I don't need to apologize for, but I don't get that vibe from you. I don't feel like you're somebody that is apologetic about things that you don't want to do or participate in, or, you know, people that you don't want to be around, and you're just like very blunt and straightforward with it. You don't waste your time on people or things that don't matter to you. And I think it's something that other people really admire about you, because it's difficult for other people to do those things. Again, like I just said, like most people will try and, you know, say they're sorry or make up excuses for not doing something or for not being involved with whatever. And you're not like that. You're just very honest, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that. No, that doesn't sound interesting to me. No, I'd rather not, you know? And I think that's something, again, like I said, that people really admire about you, because other people wish that they could kind of step into their own power and just say the things that you do freely and openly. And I don't think that you're like rude or harsh about it in any way. I think you're just firm. And you may be blunt with like your opinions and with what you think, because you don't care to have people around that like you don't vibe with and that you wouldn't get along with anyway. And so it's kind of like your way also of like feeling other people out and understanding that like, you know, certain things are very important to you, and you're not going to compromise those things for other people. So you're very much so somebody that doesn't compromise who they are for other people to feel comfortable. I get the feeling that you are somebody that has a very small group of like close friends and family, people that like you consider valuable and worth like your time and energy. Again, this is why I get such strong Capricorn vibes, because I feel like this is very much so Capricorn. And you are somebody that truly loves the people in your life that you know you can rely on, that are like actually people that feel like family, whether that's like blood family, biological family or not. And you are somebody that like you don't break promises to people that you care about. You're like a ride or die. That's like what I'm looking for. It just reminds me too like of a lyric from a Drake song where he's like, if I ever loved you, I'll always love you. That's how I was raised. And I just like get that from you guys as well. That you're somebody that if you ever like put in the energy to love and care for another person, you will always love and care for them. Even if you guys drift apart, even if like those relationships don't work out, you will always like love and care for them in some way, shape, or form. Because you really do respect the importance of like friendships, family, commitment, things like that. But again, it may be like people that you've chosen as your family. It doesn't necessarily have to be your biological family. And I think people really admire that you are a ride or die. You are somebody that'll be there, that they can depend on. And you literally are that person that people call up and ask for help, and you'll be there if they know that they can depend on you. But it's also, I feel like for you, this caveat of like you wouldn't do those things for people that you know wouldn't give it back to you, right? So like you wouldn't go out of your way to help out somebody that you know wouldn't reciprocate that for you. And again, I think that's one of those things that people really do admire about you and who you are. With the unseen coming up here, I'm really getting the vibe with this one that like you're somebody that, again, you just read people and situations very well. The example that I'm getting in my head right now is the book The Gift of Fear. If you've never read it, like please do. It's actually very interesting, and it's all about this idea that, you know, we all intuitively, instinctually have this gift of fear, and it's best when that comes up for us to listen to it. And those that don't usually find themselves in like sticky situations. But essentially, you know, like you are really good about listening to your intuition, listening to your gut. And also it's like you get messages, or some of you may see things about certain people that other people don't. So you're like, I feel like you're like the bullshit detector almost. It's like people bring you around because they may really like and trust somebody, but if you don't, then they're like, yeah, this isn't a good person. You're very much so like an animal, because they always say animals know, like, and I don't mean that insultingly, but they always say that like animals know when somebody actually means you harm and when they're like a harmless individual, right? Because I've said this to my husband like millions of times. I have a French bulldog. If you've been watching me for a while, like you know that I have a French bulldog, because you can hear him snore in the background sometimes, and he's like the most friendly, outgoing, loving dog. He loves everyone, loves everything. And my husband has made the comment before that like if anything were to happen, he doesn't think our dog would defend us, and I don't believe that at all. I think that our dog just knows that the people that he's coming across don't mean us any harm. If he could tell that they meant us harm, then he would act like a completely different dog, right? And I think that's true of like all dogs and all animals. They know, and it's like they have this other sense that we don't. It could be because they have better noses than we do too, and they can probably smell deception on people, but that's just it. I feel like you smell deception on people, and you see things about people that other people don't, or you see things about situations that other people don't. I also get the feeling that you're somebody that doesn't live in white and black, especially with duality coming out here. I feel like you're somebody that lives in gray. You're somebody that sees that you see the gray in every situation. You are able to see the murkiness in every situation. You see how a situation could go this way, could go that way, and everything that could happen in between. And the same thing with people. Like, you see things on a spectrum, if that makes sense, as opposed to like it just being one way or the other. And I think that that's because you are somebody that is so wise, and I feel like you have had to deal with a lot in your lifetime, and because of that you have acquired this like better gauge of situations and of people and of God, I'm sorry guys, I cannot think of the proper words today. I'm really trying here. It's like I don't know what it is today for me, but really what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, even though you are really good about seeing people for who they are and for seeing situations for what they are, you understand that not everything is black and white. Sometimes things are gray. Sometimes there's this middle area where, you know, we can't control what's going to happen. We can't control the outcome. We can't control this or that. And you also understand that even when it comes to like morality and things like that, not everything is black and white. Like, I'm really getting here as like an example for you. You know how, I don't know if you ever took like a philosophy class, but I did in college, and there are all of these different like philosophical ideologies, but you know, truthfully, like you can argue one point or the other with anything. But essentially, like what I'm getting at here is there's this one, like, I guess it's like a philosophical, like, I'm sorry, I cannot think of words today. But it is like not an ideology, but it's just more like, you know, a thing for consideration. And so essentially, like, this comes up in morality a lot, because morality is kind of murky. Like, just because, you know, that may be the good thing to do, that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Like, just because you broke the law to feed your family or take care of a loved one, that doesn't mean it was the wrong thing to do, if that makes sense. So I feel like you understand that, and you see that not everything is black and white. Just because like something is seen as bad or illegal, that doesn't mean that it was the wrong thing to do in every situation. There was one that I saw like a couple days ago, and it was like talking about how, you know, if your partner was sick and the treatment, like if they had cancer or something, and the treatment was like $40,000, and you tried to do the right thing at first, like you tried to raise money, you tried to, you know, get people to help with the cost, or, you know, you tried to even like work a bunch of jobs and pay for it. Essentially it boils down to like, would you steal that medication if you were able to, or would you steal like the right to it, or essentially like how that medication is made? Would you like steal those things, even though it's like the intellectual property of somebody else, to save your loved one, or would you not? And I really feel like you're the type of person that you would steal it. And I mean, I can't say I'm not either. If it's gonna save my loved one's life, that's what I'm gonna do, right? So I'm sorry if that like didn't make any freaking sense, but it made sense in my mind. Essentially, like, what I'm saying is, you know, you understand that not everything is as it appears, and not everything is good or bad. Sometimes there's, you know, space in the middle there as well. let's go ahead and move on from those cards because I just like rambled away there. I'm so sorry. But if you're still with me, let's go ahead and look at these two cards here, and we'll come back to the Venus card here in a minute. But we have Deep Freeze and we have Field of Dreams. And I feel like these are coming up because something that other people really admire about you is that you're really good at, again, setting boundaries with other people. You're really good at protecting your energy. Like, you know what you want, you know what's important to you, and like other people's input isn't going to affect you, right? Like, it's not that you're not somebody that won't hear other people out, but how other people feel about something isn't going to affect how you do. You're very like firm in who you are and what you want, and you're very good at protecting your energy, and you're also very good at self-care. Like, you're really good at recognizing when you're like on empty and when you need to take care of yourself. And I really feel like the reason why Cracked Open is coming up here, it says cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Again, I feel like you're somebody that has lived multiple lifetimes within one life. Like, you've been through a lot, and you have really worked on yourself, and you've really worked on healing yourself and healing your past traumas and your past issues. And that has allowed you to get here. Like, really, like, good for you. That is something that is so admirable, and like even something I truly admire. So I think that's why, I think that's why other people really admire that about you, because I think other people can see within you that you are somebody that has been through a lot. And when you talk to other people too, like when you talk to the people that you're close to, or even people that you may not be super close to, but that you're getting to know, and they like really start to understand who you are and where you've been and like where you've come from, they're just really like in awe that you've been able to really like alchemize your tragedy, your trauma, your scars, your wounds into like what you are now, which is this strong person who really doesn't put up with other people's shit and knows when it's time to step away from things and situations and take care of themselves. That's really what like Deep Freeze means, is it's like you going within. It's like you going into hermit mode, and you're good at recognizing when you need that and also recognizing when you need other people. But with Field of Dreams coming up, it really is to me like this resounding feeling of you don't let other people mess with your energy. You don't let other people's opinions bring you down. What's that saying? Like, lions don't worry about the opinions of sheep, is essentially like who you are. You don't worry about other people's opinions, especially if they're people that like don't matter to your life or to you anyway. You're not going to let those people bother you. You're not somebody that allows other people's thoughts about anything to get to you. You're not the type of person that somebody that likes to displace all of their own issues onto you. You don't let people do that to you. Like, you set that boundary immediately, and you're like, you're not going to treat me like that, and you're not going to talk to me like that. And I think that's very admirable, because again, a lot of people, it takes them their whole life to be able to do that, and it's like, you already know how. And I really get the like feeling that you're not even somebody that's all that old. Like, I feel like you may be somebody that's already gone through a Saturn return, and like this is who you came to be out of it, because that's kind of what the energy of this is for me. Maybe that's why I'm getting so much Saturn energy from this reading. But you're somebody that just, you don't let other people put their shit onto you, and I think that's really admirable. With exchanging gifts coming up, I feel like this also ties back into you being somebody that doesn't waste your time on people who aren't worth your time and energy. You know who is going to be there for you at the end of the day, and you give to those people, and you nurture those, yeah, I'm sorry guys, words are not my thing today. You nurture those who like will give back to you, and you really care about other people. I feel like that's why Venus love is coming up, because even though you may be somebody that kind of like has a harder exterior, or that people may look at and be like intimidated by, because you are so like confident in who you are and so firm in who you are, and you're so good at setting boundaries with other people. You really are very loving, and you are very generous to the people that you care about. Because again, I really do feel like you're somebody that would give anything for those people. And you truly like make their lives better and brighter, and you just bring this element of beauty into other people's lives with how much you truly deeply love. Like, even though I think you've been through a lot, you're somebody that has learned to unconditionally love yourself, which has allowed you to unconditionally love others. And, you know, while I don't think you're somebody that gives out your love lightly, I think that you are somebody that you give out your love fully to those who you trust and who you love and who you've let into your life and into your circle. And I think people really, really, truly admire that about you. They admire how giving, how generous you are, how loving and nurturing you really are, like when they get to know you. And that's like their perk of getting to know you and getting to be close to you, is they get to see how loving and nurturing and just like beautiful you really are, pile number 2. Like, I hope that you know how beautiful of a person you really are. I think that you are so, so deep, and you just, that's like why I think I got Scorpio energy, because you're somebody that is so deep. You have allowed your heartache and your trauma to transform you into a beautiful person. And you really have created like a beautiful life for yourself. And I think that other people see that in you and they really admire you. You're like that black, like the, what is it, black sheep. You're like the underdog, you know, you're the one that everybody roots for, because you're that person who, you know, really transformed from this state of, you know, uneasiness, being unsettled, having difficulties in their life, to who you are now. And I think everybody roots for that person. Like, I really do. I don't think that there are very many people that would openly say that they root against the underdog, against the black horse, against the person that they didn't, you know, see coming. And so, yeah, I think that is like why people really, really admire you. Let's go ahead and look at your tarot cards here and see, you know, any last information that Spirit may have for us in regard to why other people admire you. I said this during my pile 1 reading as well, but like, I just at this point don't know for sure like what to talk about while I'm shuffling my cards, because I'm so used to doing it off camera. But again, I just really want to take a minute to emphasize to you how beautiful of a person I think that you are. And I just really get the vibe that you're somebody that has overcome a lot. And again, of course, the 8 of Cups comes out, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I admire you, pile number 2. I admire you because I think that it's very freaking hard to do this. And I think it's something that all of us should aspire to do, to heal from our traumas and to not let them define us. And honestly, to let them shape us into better people, better humans, for those that we love, especially if like those of us that like want to have kids. I shouldn't say those of us, because I'm not somebody that wants to have kids, but for people that do, I think it's very important that we heal our traumas and heal ourselves before trying to have children and bringing kids into this world, because, you know, we don't want to put our own issues onto little people who didn't have anything to do with them, right? Sorry, I was kind of rambling there again a minute. But let's go ahead and get into these tarot cards here. So like I said, I think it's interesting that the 8 of Cups came up here. I think that you are somebody that, especially now in your lifetime, you know when to walk away from situations and from people and from, you know, things that just are no longer serving you. You are very good at feeling the emotions of that, not drowning in those emotions, and, you know, walking away and just moving on to better and brighter things. And I think that that's something that you've done throughout your entire life. And, you know, this may not be true for all of you, but I feel for a lot of you, your family in this lifetime is your chosen family. It's not your biological family. I feel like you've had to make a lot of hard emotional decisions walking away from people, but you got to a point where you were like, you know what, I've processed this, I've moved on from it, and I'm done. And, you know, I think that also speaks to you moving past like your traumas and difficulties in your life, because you allowed yourself to feel it, you allowed yourself to process it, and then you allowed yourself to move on to better things. So I think it's really interesting that the Eight of Cups came out here, actually. And then we also have the Moon, which represents Pisces. And I really think that you are the epitome of like the best possible outcome of the Moon. And I mean that because you did not let your trauma, your emotions, your past drown you. You did not succumb to the terrors of your subconscious mind, to the ideologies that maybe other people placed on you. You're somebody that really like trusted your intuition, trusted who you were meant to be, and that's who you became. And you did it very unapologetically. And I think that this may also tie into the fact that you are somebody that I do think has somewhat of psychic abilities, but also like you're very good at listening to your instincts, and you're very good at making decisions based on those instincts. And you truthfully, again, don't care what other people think about you. You could give a fuck less what other people think about you and the decisions that you make. All that you care about is that those decisions are true to you, they're authentic to you, and they resonate with you. And I think that that's really beautiful, because again, I think that that is why people admire you, because you're very unapologetically you. You are just incredible. I had no better way to end that sentence there for you, because like literally that's what I think. I think that you are very incredible, and you could have let your past and your issues like drown you. You could have let yourself succumb to substance abuse, and you know, I'm not knocking you if like that happened for you at some point in your life and maybe you came out of it. I'm saying though that like you didn't let that take over your entire life. You made a choice to come out of it, and you made a choice to get help, and you made a choice to heal. And I also just want to say here, for anybody that may be listening that hasn't been able to do that yet, I just want to say that there's no judgment here, because I recognize that it is a privilege to be able to do those things still. But I think that you're somebody that really made that a priority, and you made sure that it was something that you did because you knew you had to, because you knew that was the only way that you were going to really heal, is to make sure that you took the time to do it, and you spent the money, and you put in the energy to do it, because it's hard. It's hard work. That's something that people don't talk about. They make it seem like it's this easy feat, and it's not. And I think that's why the people that know you well truly admire you, because they know how hard it is, and they know how hard you worked to get where you are. With the Page of Pentacles coming out, I'm sorry you guys, I just need a drink of water here. With the Page of Pentacles coming out, I feel like this is actually coming out to represent that you're somebody that, again, is really good about setting boundaries with people, but also like taking care of yourself, right? While the Pentacles can very much so be about money and finances and, you know, our material wealth and the things that we can accumulate in this lifetime, it is also about like our physical body. And again, I think that what people admire about you is that you can see very early on in like stages of burnout or in stages of depletion in your life that it's happening for you, and you're good at pausing, taking a break, taking time off, and taking care of yourself. And I think it's because you really truly love yourself, okay? Because again, I think that you're somebody that really loves themselves and loves other people, and you have worked really hard to get there. and you're not going to let anything take away from that. And it has allowed you to free up and open up your spaces of like creativity and enjoyment, and you understand still that things take time, and you're not here to like rush your processes of healing or to rush through self-care or times where you need to be like in that hermit mode. You allow yourself to take your time, and you are very methodical with it, and you think things out very well, and you don't allow anybody to rush you. You just take the time that you need to do what you want to do. And I think that you plan things out very well. You're very strategic. And you may even be so in terms of like your self-care. You may be somebody that, plans and books trips out like months, years in advance, because you're like, I have the funds now. I know this is what I'm going to want to do. This will be really good for me during this time because this will be going on. And you're just very good at that. You're very good at being like, all right, this is the time that I have to set aside for myself. And I think that that's really, really cool. I think that's very admirable. I think other people admire that you are able to plan like that. You're able to think that far ahead, and that you're able to say, I'm going to need a vacation. I'm going to need time off. Look at my gap between like this time period when I'm off and this time period when I'm off. Like, that's way too long. I'm going to need to take a break in between here and there so that I can have some time off to myself. And I think that's very admirable. And I think other people really admire that about you. Again, with the Emperor here too, you're somebody, like I said, that is very self-assured, that is very strategic, that is very strong. And you're comfortable in your masculinity. And with duality coming out, I feel like you're also comfortable in your femininity. You're just very comfortable in who you are. And that's how, you appear to other people. That's why they admire you so much. But again, like, you worked really hard to get here, because the Emperor in reverse is somebody that is just like power hungry and goes after things in ways that aren't ethical or ways that aren't the best, and doesn't necessarily think about the long-term plan. And that's not you. You're very much somebody that thinks about the long-term plan and what needs to be done in the long term, for yourself, for others. And I really think that this is coming out because you have this fire and this drive still within you to improve, to be better. You're always like, what can I do to, improve myself, improve my situation, improve my life? What can I do for myself? And also, what can I do for others? And I think that that's why people really do admire you too, is because I don't get the feeling that you're somebody that's selfish and never thinks about other people. I think that you're constantly thinking about others. I think that you're constantly thinking about others, especially those that you love, and you're constantly thinking about how can I make their lives easier and better, and how can I help, whether it be financially or emotionally. What support can I give? How can I be there to support these people, essentially? And I think that, again, it makes you this very admirable person. For other people, you're somebody that people really look up to. You're somebody that people really look toward for guidance. And I think people really rely on you heavily, and they trust you more than you may even realize. Like, your opinion really matters to them because, again, like I've said over and over again, you're somebody that's very honest. You're somebody that may be blunt in nature, but you don't sugarcoat things for the betterment of someone's ego. You're just going to tell them exactly what they need to hear. And the people that love you and appreciate you and admire you, that is one of their favorite qualities about you, is that you don't bullshit them, that you just tell them exactly what they need to hear, even if it's not what they want to hear. So I'm going to leave your reading here, pile number 2. I am sorry that my brain kind of like was a little frazzled there. I don't know what it was. I feel like the sun got covered up there for a little bit, and so did my brain and my ability to talk. So I hope this reading made sense to you, first of all. Second of all, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it resonated for you. And I hope that it provided you on some insight into who you are and who other people view you as, right? And why they look up to and admire you. And anyways, if you did resonate with this video, you can leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I do put out new videos, like tarot readings once a week. So anyway, thank you so much for spending this time with me, pile number 2. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. If you picked the light treated citrine, then this is your reading regarding what other people admire about you. So I just kind of want to preface this and say that these are just your oracle cards. I went ahead and laid them out because there's quite a few in this reading. I wanted to make sure that everything would kind of fit in frame here for us so that you're able to see everything. And then I'm actually going to shuffle your tarot cards here on camera in a little bit to get a little bit more information from Spirit about what people admire about you. But we'll get into these cards first. I think if I remember correctly, I'm like filming these all on different days. That pile number 2's reading also, and pile number 1 had an extra card. I tried to like get one card for each of the oracle decks that I was shuffling out of, except for this one obviously, but I've gotten like an extra card I think every single time, so I'm just like, oh well, whatever, we're just gonna roll with it. So sorry if it looks like there's too much going on here. We'll kind of we'll kind of move things around as we go, but I just kind of wanted to preface that with this. But let's go ahead and get into your oracle cards here, pile number 3, about what other people admire about you. I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was laying out your cards, I'm just gonna move this over for a minute. When I was laying out your cards before I turned on the camera for you, this pile gave me very strong earth sign energy, and it was like no coincidence to me that Taurus came out here for you. When looking at the vision, the cave, and the forest, I feel like people really admire about you that you know how to accomplish the things that you want. You never lose track of your vision, of your goal, and you don't care if you have to go through the forest and go through the troubles and the trials and the difficulties of the forest. Because I mean, if you think about a forest, you know, people get lost in the forest all the time. There are like so many missing people that have like gone on hikes or whatever into national forests and they have never found, because forests can be so vast. I live out in Colorado, and there are forests that are so freaking big, like national forests that are so freaking big out here that like I couldn't even imagine going into them and trying to find my way back out. I'm not like that big of, you know, like that kind of outdoorsy person anywhere where I would like willingly go into the forest, because I think that, you know, the forest is so huge and so vast, and so there's so many different like ways that you can get lost. And you know, you're not someone that is afraid to take on the difficulties of the forest. Like metaphorically, you're just not somebody that bothers. I'm so sorry if you can hear people talking outside. I live in like the worst apartment complex ever, and people are just so loud and obnoxious all of the time. So I'm sorry if you can hear people talking. Oh, and it doesn't help that, you know, when you're in an apartment you have like super thin walls too. So my apologies if you can hear that, but hopefully it won't go on for the entire duration of your video. Anyway, let's get back into it. So also with the cave, you know, what I think about when I think about the cave is like how crystals and like old like rock formations and everything are formed in caves over like hundreds of years, right? And I think of it as like there's this patience and this diligence to you that people really admire. It was very fitting that Taurus came out, because Taurus is very much so like when Taurus has their mindset on something, they will accomplish it. It's like there's like no compromise, no way that like they're not going to get what they want. They are stubborn and they get what they want, and they don't care if it takes 10 years, they don't care if it takes 15 years, they don't care if it takes their entire lifetime. They will accomplish the things that they set out to accomplish, whether they have to go through an entire forest and, go through all the twists and turns to find their way out finally, or whether they have to dive into the deep, dark cave. They will find and accomplish the things that they're looking for, right? And I think that that's something that people really admire about you, that you have this vision of what you want your life to be, of the things that you want to accomplish, and there's just no compromise for you when it comes to that. I think that that's not to say that you're not somebody that, recognizes that sometimes you have to take a different path to get where you want, because, we can't obviously probably walk straight through a forest. We're going to have to go off trail. We run into situations where we may have to walk around, or things that we didn't necessarily anticipate that come about. But you are somebody that doesn't care. That doesn't bother you. I think that you actually kind of enjoy the challenge, and I think that's something that people really admire about you too, because not everybody has that same kind of grit and determination that you do, and you definitely see things through to the end. I also want to say that I feel like you are somebody that is a very knowledgeable, advanced person. I really think that, because the vision can also talk about, when we come here to earth, we had this pre-planned idea, our soul did, of what we were supposed to do here, what we were supposed to accomplish, and then when we come here, it's we forget what we were supposed to do, and so you spend your whole life trying to figure out what your purpose is, what you're supposed to be here doing and learning and accomplishing. And I feel like you're somebody that you may have gone through a forest or cave moment where you really had to dig into the depths of your own soul and the depths of yourself to figure out what it is that you wanted. And now that now that you have this inkling or idea of what it is that you want, you are dead set on that narrow vision on it. That's all that you see, that's all that you want to be doing, and that's what you want to accomplish, and there's really no stopping you, honestly. And yeah, that tenacity of the bull is what really other people really admire about you. And you don't have to be a Taurus. You could also be a Capricorn, Virgo, or have a lot of earth sign placements in your chart. Doesn't necessarily have to be a sun sign. It could be a north node as well in one of those. But the thing about earth signs is they're patient. They have a patience to them that other signs don't necessarily understand. And earth signs don't actually care to rush things. They prefer to do things in the manner and the time that it's supposed to be done, so that they don't mess anything up, they don't miss anything. I think that's why details came out here, is because you're somebody that can really see the little tiny details of things that shouldn't be missed, things that need to be done in order for you to accomplish what you want. And again, I think people truly admire that. You're the type of person, I just got this image, and it might be based off of the image on the card, but maybe some of you are lawyers, for instance, and even though you aren't a lawyer in a certain field, because there's so many different fields for lawyers, I feel your friends and family come to you to read contracts or whatever, because you are so detail oriented, and you really notice the minute usage or changing in words, and what people are actually signing, and different clauses, and you're just really good at honing in on those things. I also get the image of somebody that's a party planner, even somebody that just or even somebody that's a wedding planner, because you have to be the one that pays attention to those very minute details that other people may miss, even the bride and groom may miss, right? But what's going on at all times. You're just very laser focused, is what I'm hearing and what I'm feeling from spirit. And I think that is what people really admire about you. Again, like I said, you set your intentions on something, you set your mind to something, and you are absolutely unstoppable. There's nothing that you can't accomplish in this lifetime. I think that with the golden children and we the Hathors coming out here, these to me very much speak of like the motherly feminine love of the universe, as well as like us being able to parent ourselves, because we have like the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. And then we the Hathors is deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. So I think that you're somebody that is very well in touch with your feminine side, whether you're a man or a woman, and you're actually very nurturing and very giving to those around you. And I really get this feeling that you're not somebody that's a gatekeeper, right? Like if you accomplish something, you're the type of person that like wants to help others accomplish the same thing you did, or you want to like pave the path for others, so that maybe their road won't be as difficult, right? So like you'd be the type of person leaving breadcrumbs in the forest for somebody else so that they can see the way through, right? Because you already did it, you already explored it. And I really feel like you're very nurturing. You really like taking other people under your wing and like showing them the ropes. And I think that you are very good about nurturing other people and caring for them. And they may or may not be like your own children, but just like friends, family members, loved ones, you're very, very nurturing and caring towards them. And you really do, you know, try your best to like show them the way and help them, you know, navigate life so they don't have to experience the same things that you did, essentially. Like I think that for some of you, you know, getting to your end goal, getting the things that you want was very difficult, and you had to go through a lot. Like I said, you may have really gone through like a dark night of the soul, and you may have really kind of lost yourself to find who you are and the things that you really want. And I really do feel like you want to be able to spread that goodness into the rest of the world, and you want to be able to help as many people as possible. And I think that's really beautiful. It gives me very much so strong like Virgo vibes, especially with the details, because Virgos are so detail oriented, but also Virgo really enjoys being able to help others and give back to others, especially once they've accomplished the things that they've set out to do. So that's really like what I'm getting with both of those cards for you. And then with abundance coming out, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this ties back into like your ability to be laser focused on what you want in life. Like I said, nothing is going to stop you. And when you're coming from this place of like service to others, when you're coming from this place of like passion and enjoyment, when you're really like your vision is really set on like what your soul and your heart desires, you're unstoppable, and like you really are able to manifest the things in your life that you want. And this can be like abundance in so many different ways, like, you know, abundant love, abundant possessions, abundant money, abundant whatever. And I feel like the more that you put this energy and this like vitality out into the world, the more that you get back from it, because the vision does also speak of like an individual that has found their purpose and like remembers, you know, what lights them up and why they're here. And that energy is so infectious. People are truly drawn to that energy of somebody that is just like doing exactly what they're meant to, that's like following their dreams and their passions, because I think that that is very much like a human, like a collective human like want, is for us to all be doing the things that we like truly enjoy, right? And so I think that what this is saying is that, you know, you have a lot of abundance of love, a lot of abundance of, you know, money or material things, and if you don't yet, I feel like you will. And I think other people really admire you for that, because they know what it took for you to get there, right? They know how tenacious you were, they know how much you worked for what you wanted, and that you never gave up. And even when things got tough, even when things got dark, even when things got scary, even when you weren't sure if you were gonna make it out and you were like scared for your life, you found a way and you made it to the other side. And other people really admire you for that and really look up to you. Let's take a look at this card as well. This is Unfinished Symphony, and I really get the feeling here that you are somebody that understands that the work is never done, right? We can like obviously celebrate and enjoy our accomplishments, but understanding that like just because we accomplish something doesn't mean that like our life is fulfilled, that we're done. You know, there are always additional things that we can do. And I think that this is really speaking to like the symphony that will be and is your life. And you know, after you've accomplished what you want, like, again, your next step may be, okay, well, how can I help others accomplish that? How can I give back to my community? How can I, you know, make the people that I love, make their lives easier? Like, what else can I do? I just really get the feeling that you're that person, that you're constantly like, all right, this is amazing. I'm like so proud of myself, or at least you should be. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of like what I've accomplished, but like, what can I do next? What is my next goal? What is my next target? What do I need to accomplish, or what do I want to accomplish next? Like, you definitely see life as this, and I don't want to make it sound like you're like too goal oriented or anything, but you definitely see life as this like pillar system or something, right? Where it's like, you start off here, you accomplish what you want, great. Then like, what can we do to accomplish what we want here? What can we do to accomplish what we want here? And it's like you're continually kind of like climbing the steps to get to like this ultimate overarching like goal that your soul had in mind for you. And you know, again, I think people really admire just like who you are and how much you fight for what you want and how much you give back and how much you love and nurture others. Yeah, I think that is like the gist of what I want to say with the Oracle cards. Let's go ahead and look at your tarot cards here next and see if we get any additional information here from Spirit about what other people admire about you. Give me 1 second. I just need a drink of water here. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. 8 of Pentacles, very fitting. Very fitting. It's so funny to me how the tarot cards just like fly out sometimes. And, you know, I don't know. Everybody's different, but like I really don't believe in coincidences anymore. I think that, you know, everything kind of happens the way that it's supposed to. Signs and synchronicities are always there for looking for them, and that is definitely like a synchronicity with everything we've been talking about. We'll get into it here in a minute. Let's see if we can get any more to come out, otherwise we will just go ahead and go with what we've shuffled here. But yeah, I think it's really funny that of course the 8 of Pentacles really flies out here. Love it. It's like so cool, guys. Like, again, sorry, I mean, we can definitely take these cards too. I mean, I wanted 4. Spirit's like, hey, you got what you wanted, so here we go. I just think it's so funny how sometimes we I think it's just so funny sometimes how like the cards align so much with the oracle or with like what has already been said, and it's just like crazy to me. Again, I don't think that it's like a coincidence. I think it's like this reaffirmation that like Spirit is really here and wanting to relay this message to you, and I just think it's really cool. It's something that always like I will always think is cool. But anyway, so you've got the 8 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the 5 of Swords, and the 3 of Wands, and I think that this is just like super freaking fitting for you guys. I'm gonna be honest. With the 8 of Pentacles coming out, very much so Virgo energy. I believe that the 8 of Pentacles is associated with the Sun in Virgo, and the 8 of Pentacles is very much so like this idea of us really working on the things that we want and like being very determined to like perfect or to like reach our goals, if that makes sense. So it's like, you know, us spending the time cultivating the knowledge and the resources and the skills to accomplish the goals that we want to. And again, like just reaffirms like Virgo, the heavy Virgo, like earth sign energy that we're feeling here of somebody that really knows how to put like really knows how to work hard, really knows how to be diligent and work hard, and you know the value of like hard work, because I really see you as somebody that I think that you are like spiritual, and I think that you are connected to the divine, but I think you understand that like it's great for us to like have these goals and these dreams and these manifestations, but we also do have to like work for them. We have to do something, right? We have to like do something on our part to show the universe like this is what I want and this is what I'm working toward, right? And I think it's very cool that the Eight of Pentacles came out, because that's what that card really signifies to me, is somebody that, you know, is making their dreams a reality and isn't afraid to, you know, do something over and over and over and over and over and over again, perfecting and improving their skill. And again, you know, goes back to the forest here of like, you know, this trail didn't work for you. Okay, let's turn back around and try this one. That one didn't work for you. Okay, let's try walking straight through. You know, there's a tree that's collapsed that it's really hard for us to get over. Let's try walking around, or let's try a different path, or whatever. Like, you're just somebody that constantly like readjusts and constantly like is continuing to improve yourself. And again, people really, really do admire that quality in you, your ability to kind of like self-correct, self-adjust, and like move on and just like keep heading toward that goal. With the Hierophant coming out, I think it's really cool because we were talking about you like being somebody that nurtures and like teaches other people, and the Hierophant is like a teacher. Obviously, like there are a lot of different things that the Hierophant can represent, but for me here, it's really representing this idea that you have a lot of knowledge and skill, and you aren't a gatekeeper. You're somebody that like created this path for yourself, and you like want to help other people accomplish what you did. You want to be able to help your loved ones and like light the way for them and show them and like teach them. So you're just somebody that I feel like people really respect that and admire that about you, because again, you're not somebody that would be like, well, I don't know, I figured it out, why can't you figure it out? You'd be like, oh yeah, actually, like, that's really cool that you're interested. Why don't we like set up a time where we can go over all of these different like points and all of this different information. Like, I see you very much so as like, this image just came into my head. I don't know if you ever watched like Parks and Rec, but I see you as a Leslie Knope, as somebody that like has like different binders and like folders for organization of like how we accomplish this, what did we do, what are our steps. Like, I just really see you as that person, and people really do admire that about you because you're so like organized, you pay attention to the details, and you just, again, you're like laser focused on what you want to accomplish, and you don't keep any of that like information from other people. You try and share and spread knowledge as much as possible. With the Five of Swords coming up, actually, I feel like what this is saying is that you are tenacious, but you're not stupid, okay? And let me elaborate on that a little bit more. So I feel like what this is saying is that you clearly like go after what you want and you're stubborn about it, but you're not gonna try and like walk through like a path that's lit on fire, right? Something that like isn't gonna end well for you. You're okay with having to pause for a minute, recalibrate, take a break from it, and come back. Like, at the end of the day, all that matters to you is that you get where you want to be. If that means that you have to take a break, or you have to pause, or you have to like recalibrate like your path, you don't care. And I think that's something that people really admire about you, because it's so easy for people to get discouraged when things don't go exactly the way that they planned for them to, but that's not you. You're like, you know what, whatever. I expected bumps in the road. I expected some hiccups. It's fine. This wasn't working. Let's take a break. Let's step away. Let's, rethink our plan, and we'll go from there, right? Because with the Three of Swords coming, or not the Three of Swords, the Three of Wands coming out, again, I just see you as somebody that really like is able to see the whole picture, right? You understand that, one minor setback isn't the end of the world. At the end of the day, like, you're still advancing toward the goal that you want to accomplish. And when other people would get discouraged because their plan didn't go exactly as planned, you're like, no, it's totally fine. I expected that. Like, you know, ultimately I'm focused on my goal of whatever, and I'm, you know, standing at this vantage point of how do I get there. And even if, you know, again, like even if the waters are, you know, crazy, the road is rocky, you know, whatever it may be, I know that I'll get what I want to. And it's like you being able to survey and see that you have, you know, the ability to get what you want. Because again, like at the end of the day, you're coming from a place of like passion, a place of service, a place of love, a place of like happiness and desire. I really feel like you're somebody that is driven clearly by the things that really light you up and inspire you to take action. And you know that this is something that you need to accomplish in this lifetime, okay? And like your soul, I think, knows that on such a deep, profound level, that you know that there is no failure. You're not going to fail at what you want to accomplish. There's going to be setbacks, there's going to be curveballs, but like that's okay. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we have our eye on the prize, okay? Again, people really freaking admire that about you, because it really speaks to that tenacity of, you know what, oh well, I'm just gonna fight through it, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get what I want, and I'm gonna be successful, and you know, nothing's gonna hold me back. And yeah, people really, really admire that about you. It's almost like you have this childlike wonder and like perspective of, oh well, I want it, so I'm gonna get it. Like nothing's gonna stop me. Nothing's like against me. I have nothing to fear. It'll work out for me. I just have to, you know, work, and I have to put some time and effort into it, and I'll get it. No problem. So anyway, pile number 3, I think I'm gonna leave your reading here. I really enjoyed this one. Keep being you, keep being tenacious, keep going after what you want, because it really does inspire those around you to be more like you, and to really like fight for what they want and not give up on their dreams and their goals, because it may be hard, because it may be difficult, okay? So anyway, thank you so much, pile number 3, for joining me. I hope that this resonated for you. If it did, please leave me a comment down below letting me know that it did resonate with you. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new pick a card readings once a week. I love you, pile number 3, and I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you in my next pick a card reading. Thanks. Bye. All right, hello there, pile number 4. If you chose the green aventurine, then this is your reading regarding what other people admire about you. So I'm just gonna let you guys know, I went ahead and like pre-shuffled clearly your oracle cards, and I wanted to lay them out so that, you know, we could kind of just like touch on all of them, and I wouldn't have to like be looking at the camera all the time to make sure that everything is like properly in line and that you're able to see everything. So I just wanted to make sure that we were able to do that for this part. It's so funny, I believe with every other group there was like an extra card in every other group. I tried to only get like 1 card from these oracle decks and then 3 cards from these ones, but your spirit guides wanted you to hear these 4. The universe, you know, whatever it is you believe in, wanted you to hear about these 4 and thought it was important that I saw them all. And when I was laying them out, it was like, okay, makes sense. And then I will also go ahead and shuffle your tarot cards during the reading, and we'll get like a little bit more guidance from spirit, the universe, again, whoever it is you believe in regard to what other people admire about you. I really just wanted to look at your oracle cards first. So let's go ahead and get right into it, pile number 4. When I was laying out these cards in particular, I really got like very strong Scorpio energy. You could be a Scorpio sun, you could have a lot of Scorpio placements, you could have a lot of 8th house placements, you could have your North Node in Scorpio. I don't know for sure, and you know, maybe you don't have anything in Scorpio, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that this reading isn't for you, but that's just like the initial energy that I got when I was laying out those cards, and let me tell you why. So Thanatos here translates to death. We have the empty room, the storm, and the flame. What this said to me is that, because like the storm very much so is like linked with the Tower card in tarot, and you know, Thanatos would clearly be linked with death, and death is Scorpio represents death and rebirth, and I feel like there's been a lot of that in your life. I feel like you're somebody that just constantly is going through change. I feel like you're somebody that maybe experiences more change and challenge and growth than other people in their lifetimes do. And I think that the people that love you and that know you can see just how chaotic your life can appear from the outside. They see how much, you know, change occurs, and I feel like you're somebody that just like you're chilling, vibing, you know, enjoying your life, and then, you know, something crazy happens out of the blue that like wouldn't happen to anybody else, but it freaking happens to you, right? And it's just like it's kind of like another initiation for like another point of change in your life. And I feel like a lot of you may be Scorpio North nodes, because to me this feels very much so like fate, destiny, you know, whatever, that these changes were supposed to happen for you to really wake up and understand who it is that you are. I feel like you are somebody, again, that constantly goes through change, but because of that change, you're constantly reflecting. You're very much so somebody that is in your head a lot. You reflect on situations, you reflect on your actions, the actions of others, you sit in silence a lot, and you, like I said, spend a lot of time in your head, you know, analyzing situations and analyzing what's happened. And I think that for some of you, you allow yourself to really feel those feelings, but for others, you are just very like analytical with it, and you take that, you know, okay, what could I have done differently? What would I do differently next time? You take that as like your way of like continuing to grow, right? Because you see the flaws in the way that things were before. I feel like that's where the storm comes around, because you know, built this in like tarot, the Tower card, you know, is literally a tower, and you built this tower, and then it gets struck by lightning and everything comes crumbling down, and it's like to show you that maybe like the foundation wasn't the best to begin with, you know, and you spend a lot of time having to go deep within yourself and rebuild. And I think that what people really admire about you is that ability to get back up even though life has knocked you down a lot, and you just don't let it put out your spirit. Like, you don't let it crush you. I think you've come to realize that change is the only consistent thing in life, and if we're not changing, we're not growing. And so I think that maybe early on in your life you saw this as a curse, and now you're really seeing it as this blessing, as like this superpower, this strength that you have, because you are constantly able to reinvent yourself, to change, to grow, to learn. And I think people see that in you, and to the point where it's like, you know, something happens and you're like, oh yeah, well, whatever, what's new, you know, it just happens, it is what it is, and I'll be okay. You know, I think that you're somebody that understands too that life is cyclical, and we have periods where we're riding our high and periods where we're low, and there's nothing else that we can come to expect. We'll never constantly be in a state of happiness and positivity all of the time. We'll never constantly be in this state of like low, of, you know, depression, anxiety, of worry, of fear, that we constantly kind of just go through these cycles, right? And I think that people really admire that about you, and they see you as somebody that's very resilient, because of what you've gone through. Again, I think that you are very deep, and you're able to reflect on, you know, what happened, and you're able to see the positive in the things that have happened to you. It's almost like you are at peace with the chaos, the change, the growth. You know it's coming, you know there's no way to avoid it, and you're just like, you know what, it's fine. I'm just moving into another chapter, I'm moving into another stage of my life, and it is what it is. And I'll get through it, like just like I have the millions of other times that stuff like this has happened to me. I'll get through it and I'll come out better than I was before. And yeah, it really is. It's like this state of like peace and acceptance with the change. And, you know, like I said, for me anyway, the Tower does feel like a faded card of, you know, this had to happen so that we could move on. Like, to me, it's almost like that point of, all right, like we've told you that change needs to happen. If you're not willing to make the change, we're gonna have to force change upon you. And I think that maybe that's how you were early on in your life, and now you've just really like connected with this idea of, this is like what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be growing and changing and evolving and learning, and that's the point of life anyway. And it's okay. You take that time now to like reflect, to spend time in silence, to meditate, to take care of yourself. I feel like you're very good at stepping back and just like caring for yourself in that situation, because the empty room is really filled with like, I like the way they represent the empty room in this deck, because to me it's like you have this box that doesn't have like anything physical or tangible in it, but it's like the universe is in this box, right? And so even though you go through all of the shit, all of this stuff happens to you all of the time, you're able to say, you know what, like, this is probably, you know, this happened so that I was able to learn this lesson, so that I was able to accomplish something later on in life because I had already learned that lesson. And I think that you have a very good grasp of who you are too. I think that with all of the change that you've experienced in your life, that you have a very good understanding of like who you are, what you desire, what your fire, what your purpose is. And yeah, just like who you are, like, you know who you are, and you aren't afraid to be yourself. You aren't afraid to let that part, like, you're not afraid to show yourself to the world either, because you're proud of who you are, and you're proud of the changes that you've had to go through, and like the growth that you've had, and like you look back at the person you were 10 years ago and you really don't even recognize that person because you've changed so much for the good. I really think that for you guys, this is like good change. It's not like you changing into this terrible person and like, you know, becoming a villain or something. I think it's you changing into this better person each time that something happens to you, because it also allows you to have more sympathy and understanding for other people when they're going through it as well, because, you know, we all have to change and grow, like, in life, and growing is hard. And I think that people really admire that you're somebody that they can go to for advice, or like for comfort, or for understanding even, because I really think that like as human beings, we don't necessarily always need someone to fix our situation. We just need somebody to like hear us and like understand and like make us feel less alone in the world. And I think that's a gift that you really have, is that you're able to make other people feel less alone. Like, a lot of you may even be in fields of like psychology, even like you would potentially make like a very good therapist, because you understand what it's like to be in the position of like your clients, of these people, and you're able to be empathetic, but you're also able to provide realistic like advice, realistic steps, realistic like help. And also, like, I think that a lot of us really just go to therapy for the cathartic experience of releasing, because, you know, sometimes it's the first time we say those things out loud to anybody, and like you're the person that they feel comfortable saying those things out loud to. There's just like something about you, about like your aura, about how you present in the world that's very empathetic, very compassionate, very understanding. And I think people are really drawn to you because of all of this change, and they admire how you handle adversity and how resilient you are and how you just stay calm. And you, at this point, I really do, I think that you stay calm through challenges, through difficulties, because you have gotten really good at like being able to regulate yourself and just be like, you know what, it's just another period of low, it's another change, it's another like contraction period of my life, and it's okay, because I'll come out and I'll be fine, and I'll have learned something, and I'll have grown from that experience. Again, like we have positivity here, and I think that you're just able to remain like open-minded and positive. And even though like you're a human being, so you're gonna have those moments where things are difficult and like where you're really upset about like a change or an issue that's gone on, you don't let it dim you. You keep that like empathetic, positive, compassionate, like loving energy. And again, you like hold on to your peace, and you hold on to the fact that like irregardless, you know who you are, and you know like where you're going, and you know that for you to get from like where you are now to who you want to be, there is going to be a lot of change. There's going to be a lot of like tower moments and death moments, and just like you continuing to like mold yourself into the person that you're meant to become, okay? And I think that's really freaking admirable, because there are so many people in life that have such a hard time with change, and I think that you have really mastered change, and you've really mastered things being thrown at you from left field, and you just kind of roll with the punches, and you understand that, you know, life is supposed to be this like beautiful roller coaster, this beautiful up and down, and for us to feel our highest highs, sometimes we have to feel the lowest lows, and that's okay, because you want to feel the highest highs, and you're fine with being low for a while. You're fine with being in that place, being in the empty room, feeling like you have nothing and no one around you, and just being and existing, because that's also what the empty room really points to, is like you're okay with just being and existing in the moment, and, you know, letting yourself be quiet so that you can listen to your own inner guidance, because we all know what's right for us and like know what we're supposed to be doing if we really just freaking listen to ourselves. Like that's why there's so many distractions in this world, right? Because that is one of the obstacles I feel like we're supposed to overcome as human beings, is that we're supposed to learn how to like block out the noise. And I think that you're somebody that's really good at that, and that's why people really freaking admire you, because you know how to do that, and you've known how to do it for quite some time. And there are people that it takes them their whole life to be able to get to this point of acceptance that you have with yourself and the way that life just is, okay? I think that with education coming out here, you allow life to be your teacher. You allow yourself to go after what you want. You allow yourself to, you know, try different things and not be scared of failure, not be scared of things not working out, because again, you know that ultimately things change, and sometimes, you know, we build something up and it's not exactly what it's supposed to be, and we have a storm, we have a tower moment. And you're okay with that. You don't care, because you just want to learn, and you just want to grow, and you just want to keep on evolving, and, you know, become the best version of yourself that you can. And, you know, this can also point to you educating yourself more and growing as these things happen to you, because, you know, as, let's say, for instance, if you're somebody that had to deal with a lot of childhood trauma, as these repressed like feelings and events and, you know, things start coming out as you get older, and you start to kind of link like, oh, well, maybe I act that way because, you know, this happened to me in childhood. I feel like you're somebody that like reads a lot of books and does a lot of like self-education as well, because you're like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. So how can I change that about myself? What can I do? How can I heal? Because that's just it, is that like death really is about healing as well, right? Healing ourselves. And again, I feel like you're somebody that is able to heal others. But it is about healing ourselves, about changing, and about rebirth, about coming out to be this, like, going in as the caterpillar and coming out to be the butterfly, right? And so I feel like you do spend a lot of time with self-education, but I think that something that people really admire about you is that you've allowed life to be your teacher as well. You allow life and like the things that just kind of happen be your teacher. And you're okay with that, and you're okay with failure, and you're okay with things not going the way that you wanted them to, because you're not in it for that necessarily. You're in it to learn, and you're in it to do things differently next time. You're like, okay, well, that didn't work out. Let me try something else. Again, like, it's the resilience. You're very, very, very resilient. That's just something that I keep hearing over and over and over again. And people really admire that about you, how resilient you are, how you're able to just like get back up when life knocks you down and keep going, and, you know, keep learning and keep changing. And I think that the person that you were, like, there's like a lot of trends that have been going around lately where people, like, you know, get to like talk to their younger self, or they write a letter to their younger self. And I feel like your younger self would be very proud of the person that you've become. And I think people really admire that, because there are a lot of people who become adults that the younger child, like, or that their inner child, like, wouldn't have fucked with, like somebody that they wouldn't have wanted to be around, right? Like, it's like that fear of like becoming your parent, kind of, where like you wanted to change and do things differently than your parents did, and then you become your parent. And there are a lot of people that aren't even able to like have the self-awareness that you do, and I think that people really respect that and admire that you have this deeper level of self-awareness, because again, you spend a lot of time in the empty room really like listening to yourself and reflecting. With the courageous peony, it says multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. I think that, again, like earlier on in your life, this shit was a lot more difficult for you to handle, but now as you've gotten older, you've really embraced it, and you've kind of accepted that this is just the way life is, and you've accepted that this has allowed you to like really bloom, right? Like, you have survived the harsh winter, and you're now able to like have your petals open and bloom and let others see you for who you are, which is this person who is very empathetic, very caring, very able to like relate to them, because you've been through a lot of situations that other people have gone through or will go through. And so it's easy for you to understand where they're coming from, right? And even if you haven't been through it, you're able to sit there and like put yourself in their shoes and imagine what that would be like. But I think that this card and Leo, I will actually tie in really well together, because I think that with Leo coming up here, it's speaking to the fact that you really do have a good grasp on who you are, what your purpose is, what allows you to shine, and like you never let anything else, like anything that life throws at you, take that away from you, okay? Like, and I think that's very beautiful, and I think that other people see that in you, and they really admire that you don't let you don't let life blow out your flame. You don't let the storm blow out your flame. You always protect like the innermost parts of yourself, and you never let anything like turn you sour. You never let anything bring you down to the point of like no return. And I think that really speaks to Leo coming out here, because Leo, if anything, the most evolved Leos are very self-assured, and they know who they are, and they have this like deep confidence in themselves, and they don't mind showing and shining their light to the world. I mean, they're ruled by the sun, they're meant to be seen, and I think that that's why this is coming out, is because you're somebody that's meant to be seen too. And those that do see you love you, and like those that don't, it's because they can't deal with this energy, with like how deeply seated change is in you. And like again, like at the beginning I told you that this really made me think of Scorpio energy, and something about being a Scorpio or having a lot of Scorpio placements is that people that aren't ready to change, people that fear change, that fear what that brings and what that entails, that fear the idea of death and rebirth, they don't vibe with Scorpio energy. So there's gonna be people that like don't like you, right? And it's just like with different flowers, like not everybody likes a peony, but that's okay. Like you still like get to be tall and shine bright and like open your beautiful petals and like be who you are. And people admire you for that, because again, it's really hard to like constantly like be your authentic self in this world when this world continually tries to beat it out of you, and you don't allow the world to beat it out of you. You keep that authentic self of your, that authentic flame going at all times. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and before I like ramble on all day, because I could talk about that forever, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle for your tarot cards, really just looking for any more information that Spirit wants to give us in terms of what other people admire about you. Pile number 4, my green aventurines, what do other people admire about you? What does Spirit have to say about that? Do like another shuffle here. I just want to say that like I really fuck with this pile, because as somebody else that has a lot of Scorpio placements, it can be really hard to constantly have to like be changing and growing, and like sometimes, you know, you want to just be able to be like, can I just have like one thing that's easy, please? Like, can one thing be easy for me? And sometimes you just don't get it, right? The 3 of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, and the 7 of Pentacles. We'll go with those lovely cards. Okay. All right, pile number 4. I really think that the 3 of Cups is coming up here because, again, I think that you are able, like really able to like celebrate yourself and who you are, and the people that like admire you and that really see like who you truly are celebrate you too, and they love you and they admire you, and they are grateful that they have you in their life as somebody that can provide them with advice and provide them with, you know, compassion and understanding when life has gotten rough, right? Because I think that you're somebody that again, because you've been through it a lot and you've seen the lowest lows, you are somebody that has developed compassion for yourself and understanding for yourself and love for yourself when you're going through those things. And that's why I think you usually will kind of take a breather, take a break, take a step back if you need to. And other people really admire that about you, that you know when you need a break, that you know when you need to take a step back, and that you're not afraid to do that, and you're not afraid to voice that to people. And I think others really admire you for that, because again, that's not something that's easy to do. And again, I think this is also speaking to like what you give back to other people and to your communities. I really do feel like if you're somebody that's not like in psychology, I feel like you may be like a social worker or a nurse or even a teacher, that you're somebody that like other people look to for guidance and for like reassurance, and you're very good at being able to provide that to other people. Because again, I do think you're very empathetic and very compassionate. And so if you're not a therapist listening to clients all day, you could be a nurse listening to patients all day about their worries and like, you know, being there for them and like providing them reassurance and kindness. because you know what it's like to like not have other people understand what you're going through, and you always kind of constantly want to be that for somebody else. You want to be that ear that other people have to speak to. You want to be the one that listens, and other people, you know, really see that in you, and they really do admire that. With the King of Pentacles coming out, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is coming out because, again, you're somebody that's very self-assured. You know who you are, you know what you want out of this life, you know how to like keep your cool under pressure. And the King of Pentacles, to me, especially in this card, is like a wise old sage, is somebody that understands the importance of physical possessions as well as spiritual, as well as like the mind, as well as our passions. And you've just really done a good job of like incorporating all of that into who you are. And again, I really do feel like this has to do with like you never letting the trials and tribulations of your life bring you down and like lower your vibration to the point of no return, and you continue to like keep this flame lit. Okay, I really, again, I'm seeing in this imagery in particular somebody that's wise and somebody that other people go to for advice, for guidance, for support. And I, again, feel like this is pointing to you being somebody that's kind of mastered this art of taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, when things do go south, when things are like, you know, when you're going through your tower moments, when you're going through the points of transformation, you know what you need in order to be able to get through to that other side. You know that you need rest, you know that you need time, you know that you need whatever. And I think that you're somebody that's really good about being able to set boundaries with other people as well, and say, you know what, I'm really having a hard time right now. I kind of need to disconnect. I'm sorry if I don't answer your calls or your texts or your whatever. I need some time to myself and to be with myself. And I think that you're really good at being able to do that, and people are like in awe of that and amazed by that, because there's so many people that have such a problem and a difficulty with setting boundaries with people, and that's something that people really do have to learn. And I think that you're somebody that does that very well, and does it in a way that doesn't come off as you being, you know, selfish, or you being rude, or you being whatever. You're literally just needing to take care of yourself. So I feel like that's why that's coming up. Also, like, doesn't this guy kind of look like an old therapist or something, like in his chair listening to somebody talk? Because that's what he reminds me of in this picture. And then with the Nine of Swords here, I feel like this is coming up because, again, it's like reaffirming this idea that you're this person that, I'm sorry guys if you can hear my cat like in the background. She's going a little berserk out there. Let me just get a drink of water real quick. So anyway, I feel like the Nine of Swords is actually coming out here because it's reaffirming that you're somebody that has gotten through a lot of like this anxiety and turmoil. I feel like this is somebody that you used to be, somebody that was anxious about the things they couldn't control, somebody that worried and stayed up at night and wasn't able to sleep because they were worried about what was coming next. They were worried about if they were going to be able to get through this. They were worried about this, or whatever. And I really think that this is coming up in particular, the Nine of Swords, for us to see that, again, you are somebody that has dealt with this, and you have sympathy and compassion for others that do, because you know what it's like to be in that place of like fear and that place of lack almost, right? Like having this like lack mindset, or this idea that things are always going to be this bad, things are always going to be like this, and you know what that's like. And so you're really able to help other people in your life, or, you know, again, clients or patients or whatever. You're able to help people through that anxiety, through that worry, and you're able to like be there for them and let them know that you understand. But I think that this is coming out to reaffirm that it wasn't always like that for you. You know, you were somebody that had to develop those skills, had to develop that ability. I feel like you transform from this into the King of Pentacles, somebody that is self-assured and confident and knows that they'll make it through and doesn't sweat the small stuff and worry about every tiny little thing that happens, because you know that to a degree you only have control over so much. And then with the Seven of Pentacles here, I feel like this is coming out ultimately because I think that you are a very patient person. I think that what Spirit is wanting to reiterate here is that you're patient in, you know, waiting for what you want to develop. So, you know that things may be difficult while you're going through the changes that you are, but ultimately, like, the seeds that you have planted will grow into this beautiful tree. So again, it's like re-emphasizing this idea of transformation, but also this patience of being able to wait for those things to come to fruition, because, you know, a lot of change, a lot of like the low points of our lives, we're not just there for a day, we're there for like a season, or, you know, a year or 2 or 3. And I think that you're somebody that has learned this place of like patience and understanding with yourself, right? And I think that that's why the Seven of Pentacles is coming up, because you know that you can't rush this process, that it's going to happen at the pace that it's meant to, but you know that you can take a step back, you can kind of let things be, and you can give the seeds that you've planted, the change that you've started, time to grow into what it's meant to be, okay? So pile number 4, I really enjoyed this reading. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here, but ultimately I just want to say that I think people really admire the fact that you have been in the darkness and you've made it back to the light, and it has only reaffirmed for you who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, what your passions are, the things that you actually care about. And I think that other people really do see that, and they really do respect you, and they admire you for all of the things that you've had to go through and where you are now, who that has made you into, who you've become. Because again, you didn't let life crush you, you crushed life, and you're continuing to crush life in ways that very many people can't do. So anyway, pile number 4, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that this resonated for you. If it did, please leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new pick a card readings every week. And again, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.